Donna Druchunas, and in this video I want to show you how to work these right twist and left twist cable crosses for Bavarian twisted traveling stitch knitting, and I use them in this pattern, Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Eve. I have several patterns that use these kind of stitches, and you see I've got 4 here that I'm going to show you. Right twist and left twist, and that's a knit crossing over a knit. And you'll notice it's got this funny looking symbol in it, and that's showing you it's a twisted knit. There's no plain knits in Bavarian knitting. They're always knit through the back loop, which makes the stitch a little tighter, and it looks like this. It's got a sharper ridge texture than regular knits. Okay, so that's why it has that. And then you also have right purl twist and left purl twist, where you're moving a knit across a section of purls over one purl. So here we're crossing one stitch over another. That's why it has 1 1 for the numbers on all of these. There are other stitches where you cross 1 over 2 or 2 over 1 or 2 over 2, but we're not going over them in that in this video. So I've got a sample here that I swatched, and I'm just going to show you the maneuvers on here. So we're going to start with 1 1 left purl twist. So I'm going to knit 1 and purl 1. That's just the beginning of my swatch. And now I want to do a left purl twist. So look at that knit. That's the knit. This knit is going to move that way, and the purl is going to go underneath it to the back. So this purl is going to end up being over here, but the knit's going to be in the front. So the way I usually do this is just to switch the order of my stitches first. So I want this one to go in the front, and the purl is going to cross behind it in the background. Remember I said purls always go in the back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go grab that purl in the back, because I want this knit to stay in the front. So I go behind it, grab that purl, and I'm going to real quickly take that left needle out and put it back in the knit stitch. And then I'm going to put that purl stitch back on the left needle. So see, I've crossed the stitches, and the knit's going there, and that purl's over here now. And now I'm just going to purl 1, knit 1, and remember we're knitting through the back loop. So now I've switched the order of those. See how the knit leans over going that direction? The same as it does in the chart symbol. Okay, now we'll do 1 in the same direction, but I'm not going to switch the order of the stitches first, because there's different ways to do these, and it can be easy or tricky. And I like the switching the order first, but some people would rather do the crazy things with knitting the stitches out of order without switching them first. Okay, so the same thing we're going to have here. We want to have the purl stitch move over to this side and go in the back. So we can't just purl it first, because our yarn would have to come in front of it, and we purled it, and it would cover up, you can see it already, it would cover up the column of knits and mess up that nice line we're trying to draw. So what I have to do to purl the stitch first, and you'll probably see why I don't do this one a lot, is that I have to kind of keep my yarn out of the way, but I can't bring it here. So what I have to do is go into the back of that purl and purl it through the back loop, so that my yarn doesn't interfere with that knit stitch. And now I can knit the knit stitch through the back loop, and I've switched the order of them. And see, it looks kind of the same. I have a little loose stitch here, but that's just because my swatch is big yarn on giant needles. They come out pretty much the same, whether you switch the order first or you don't. Okay? So you can rewind and watch that, but that was the 1 1 left purl twist. Now I'm going to go here, and I've got the 2 knits. And we can cross the 2 knits to the right or the left. So switching the order is the same. If I wanted to go to the left, just like I did the left purl one first, if I want to do the 1 1 LT, where this stitch here is going to go across to the left, I'll grab that second stitch from behind and switch the order, and you can see what it's going to look like even before you knit it. See that? Isn't that cool? Well, let's not finish that one. I'm going to just put the stitches back where they were. And I'll show you how to do the 1-1 RT. So see, the only difference between those is the R and the L and the angle that it slants. And this one is going to be, we want this stitch to be on the surface of the knitting, moving that way. So because we want this one to be on the surface, we'll grab it from the front. Take the left needle out of it quickly, pop it back into the other stitch, switch the order, and now I can go knit through the back loop, knit through the back loop. Let me purl the next stitch just so I can get away from it and show you. And see how that one is going towards the right. Only we knitted both. Here we did a purl and a knit, a purl and a knit, and here we just did a knit and a knit. We did it to the right. And then you can also do the purl ones to the right. So I'm up to another knit and purl pair, and I want to pull this stitch to the right. So switching the order first, I can go into the front of this stitch because I want to pull it across this way on the surface of the knitting, and I'm just moving it where I want it, pulling it that way. And you see, I can check it before I knit and purl it. And then I knit, and then I purl. Okay? And then I can do these out of order too without switching them. And it's easier than the first one I showed you because I just go between the stitches and into that knit. I'm going between the stitches and into the back of the second knit stitch, knitting it through the back loop, and my yarn's in the back so it doesn't cover anything on the surface of the knitting. And then I go into the back of the first one and knit it, and they both come off. There's my ladybug friend again. Okay, and so you see that goes to the right. You can do the same thing if you're crossing knits over knits. You can knit that one first and then that one, or you can knit that one through the back first and then that one if you want to cross them in that order. So I hope that's helpful for you. Those are the only 4 symbols that we use. If you like to use a cable needle and you already know how to do left and right cables with the cable needle, these are the same except we're twisting the knits. And when we have a purl, of course, it's a purl. So you can feel free to do this pattern with a cable needle if you know how. But I've just given you 2 options without a cable needle. You can change the order of the stitches first, or you can knit them out of order. I find changing the order of the stitches first easier. So those are the only ones used in these mittens. I have a whole class on this on Craftsy, Bavarian Twisted Stitch Knitting, and you can look that up there if you want to learn more.